Hi, I'm Chris Maurice, and welcome to the Yellow Card Podcast. Today on our show, I'm joined by Chris Ani, co-founder of CryptoHub, who will be my co-host as we talk about the future of money.
The Yellow Card Podcast.
Hey everyone, today we're joined by Chris Ani, the founder of CryptoHub. Chris, it's great to have you on, man. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm doing great.
Awesome, man. And so I think a great way to start would be could you just give everyone a little bit of information on your background? So for the people that don't know what CryptoHub is, Chris here is probably responsible for getting more people into Bitcoin in Nigeria than anyone else. So I think everyone would love to hear a little bit more information on your background and what you're doing with CryptoHub.
Okay, so my name is Chris Ani. I founded CryptoHub.club in 2017. Virtually, I came across Bitcoin in 2016. Of course, some people were there before me, but one of the things I discovered in Nigeria was the fact that when I wanted to learn about Bitcoin and I went on YouTube, there was no black person I could learn from. There was nobody in Nigeria I could learn from. And that was me. Some guys were just talking about Bitcoin, perfect money in a city called Calabar. And I was confused because they kept on saying, man, Bitcoin is scarce. Where are we going to buy $100 Bitcoin? So in Pidgin, they say, where we go buy $100? Where we go buy $200? How about this Bitcoin as a magic money on the internet that grows? And the next thing, I went to Port Harcourt one day, and with the inquiries in my heart, I logged onto YouTube and I searched about Bitcoin. And guess who I first found? Andreas Antonopoulos, and I began to learn about the introduction to Bitcoin. In short, the words of Andreas Antonopoulos became like a virus inside of me. I was mad. I was crazy about it. Like, what? This is what Bitcoin is going to do to the world? This is the history of finance? And for 12 hours, I didn't know when I was on YouTube for 12 hours. I started from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. the next day. My friend came and like, Chris, you've not slept. I said, I've not slept. I found something new, this Bitcoin thing. So I got a friend who loaned me a particular amount of money, and I joined it. And I bought my first Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was around $600, I paid about $200,000 to get my first Bitcoin. And ever since then, that has been my journey. And I went on, I continued the Bitcoin thing. I started buying and selling. I became like a middleman for people. So I started talking about Bitcoin on Facebook. So my friends began to like, wow, Bitcoin. I got people from Spain, Cameroon. People started buying Bitcoin from me. As I became a semi-Bitcoin merchant. And from then on, entering 2017, I later had about Ethereum. I got my first Ethereum at $10. But something kept on striking me. This Bitcoin I knew about, I started holding small meetups in 2016 to teach people about this revolution I've seen, how something is going to change the world of finance. And with all the crazy things from Roger, the things Roger has done, the things I was trading on Polonia XM, blockchain.info, and all these things. I said, okay, Nigerians don't have access. There's no website in Nigeria where you could go to and learn about Bitcoin. So I founded CryptoHub.club, the first platform where people could go and take a video course on Bitcoin, on cryptocurrency trading, and on like that. That's how CryptoHub came to play. And first of all, we started on WhatsApp. From WhatsApp, I built a website. And from there, I got members. And from there, I started monetizing cryptocurrency education. From then on, I later switched into partial hedge fund business I was doing for crypto. And basically what I've been doing in the cryptocurrency space since 2016 is basically education, teaching, that's education, advocacy, conferences, meetups, trading on my own too, and also helping to build a community. And I'm also the author of Crypto 101. So in 2018, I got a body inside of me, like, people kept asking me, what is Bitcoin? So I see myself always repeating the same thing over time, even when I send them to my website. So in 2017, I wrote a free ebook which I wrote down that one to 2018, 20 reasons why I should invest in crypto. Then in 2019, I said, no, I need to monetize this thing. I don't people, when you give people free education, they tend not to value it. Bitcoin is finance. Bitcoin is precious assets. Bitcoin is something huge. If anybody wants to get into it, you should learn it. So I wrote Crypto 101 and I published it in 2019. And that's how I've been doing the cryptocurrency space. And I think that's the little background that I have in the Bitcoin space.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I mean, I think, really one of the most important things that you're doing, I think, is sort of like you hit on, localizing that content, taking it in and making it available in, in Pidgin or in, any other local language, so that people can, truly understand it, from, again, somebody that, looks and sounds like them, as opposed to having to go online and, find some guy from, the US or from China or anywhere else. That's I think extremely important for getting people into the space.
That's true. Of course, the words of Andreas Antonopoulos really hit me. One of their motivations for education is when Andreas said, the key to adoption globally is education. That word hit me real good in 2017, and I said, no. This is something I have to just push. And of course, we've been able to really do something across Nigeria. I've even taught Bitcoin. I've shared Bitcoin amongst traders, spare part dealers, people who do trading of this kind of spare parts and all those importation like that in Kano, Igbo traders. And I have to teach them Bitcoin in Igbo language. We've done the same thing in several parts of Nigeria, even several parts in Africa too. And we won't stop.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So, I mean, it sounds like Andreas was sort of the original inspiration for CryptoHub.
Yes, in short, if you check my book, Crypto 101, what part of the dedication was given to Andreas is like, I would say, is like one of the big models I had to follow. Even though I have other models I followed in the cryptocurrency space, like Paris Hilbert, like that. But Andreas was like the guy who just opened my eyes. And, he teaches cryptocurrency with Bitcoin with so much passion. And you could see the thing from him with so much knowledge about economics, about history, about global finance. And he's giving me a lot of inspiration, because my next book on cryptocurrency is Bitcoin and Your Freedom. I'm going to be publishing that in 2020, and I'm covering the impact of Bitcoin globally. There's going to be Bitcoin in China, Bitcoin in Argentina, Bitcoin in America, Bitcoin in several countries, and the impact of Bitcoin coupled with their failing economic and monetary policies. So Andreas has been like, man, this guy, anytime I can be eating like this and Andreas is playing, I'll just drop the food to listen to that guy, because he got some crazy wisdom about this field. The only thing is, we don't know if he's Satoshi.
It's no, yeah. I mean, Andreas. I mean, for me as well. When I was first getting into the space, I mean, Andreas was, he was the go-to person for me as well. I mean, all of the books, all of the talks and everything. I mean, just the way that he's able to take those concepts and, explain it so simply.
Exactly.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And, it's so great to see something like what Andreas preaches, again, now happening in Nigeria, happening in, Lagos, happening in, the northern states, happening all over the continent, really.
True.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And so I know you're working on a documentary now. You're working on a documentary which is sort of the culmination, I believe, of a lot of what you've been working on with CryptoHub over the last few years now. So I know I'm sure it's still early stage, but is there any information you can share on that?
Okay, so concerning the documentary. Some of the things that inspired this documentary. One day I was on YouTube, because I do YouTube a lot. I advise Nigerian youth, anything you don't know properly, go on YouTube, go on Google. These search engines are there to educate us. And I tell you, when you see the light, you will not allow the media, you will not allow darkness to confuse you. So I went on YouTube and I saw a documentary, Bitcoin Uganda. Wow, it touched me. I saw a young guy whose elder sister married somebody in the US, and they used to send him money from the US to Uganda. But every time they send him the money, before he gets to the village, you see like 30% cut from every $100 or $500 they send to him. And this guy needs to pay his school fees. And one day he heard about Bitcoin. So his auntie told him to check and open the wallet. He opened the wallet. And guess what? The guy in Uganda received either $40 or $100 Bitcoin. In Uganda, it's big money for him to pay his school fees. So he took his bicycle and told the auntie, okay, where can I convert this? He said, go to the city. And the guy took his bicycle down to the city and saw a local exchanger and converted the Bitcoin to Uganda currency, shillings or so. And he came back, was able to pay his school fees with lesser fees now. Instead of those 10%, 20%, he had little fees paid with. You know, it was so exciting. It was like a 6-7 minutes documentary. And then when I went on to watch Bitcoin Gospel, I said, wow. And I looked at the Nigerian cryptocurrency space. We have so many people saying so many bad things about Bitcoin, from the government to even blogs. You know, early this year, when the Canadian exchange was hacked, somebody on Instagram blog said the Bitcoin CEO is dead. We've had so many news of hacks and scams. In the midst of all these things, there are so many good news happening in the cryptocurrency space. Let me share something with you. There's a young guy who had to push me to do this. I wanted to do this last year about our brand and the impact we've been creating. But I thank God it didn't even happen, because it just been maybe literally about my brand. But this year is bigger now. It's about the impact of Bitcoin in Nigeria. So there's this 17-year-old guy who was denied admission from UNN. And he got to know about me online. He's been an affiliate marketer, made some money from affiliate marketing from the internet. He's 17 years old. Take note of his age, 17. And here's this guy coming to me to learn Bitcoin. He gets my book. He takes my course, which people pay for online, $200 to learn my crypto trading course. Gets his Bitcoin, gets into our exchange, and start trading, and start buying and selling. And you know what? The guy started doing crypto trading on Binance. As I taught him, he did not lose his capital. He learns all the risk management involves, cashes out sometimes 2-3% daily. Sometimes he can do 30% in a week, sometimes like that. And guess what? This young guy started with $300. On the journey in July 19, added another $200. As at today, October, the 17-year-old guy has multiplied a capital of $500 Bitcoin to over $2,000 Bitcoin in a space of July, August, September, October. And that's a story on its own. And guess the thing now, this young guy has no bank account. This young guy uses his mom's bank account for anything he's doing. So it's a huge story on its own we have to capture and say, no, we're going to tell this to the world. And several other people like that Bitcoin has changed their lives. So the inspiration behind this is that we don't want to hear the bad news again. When you go on YouTube, when you go on the media and you put Bitcoin and you put Nigeria, you should be able to hear about the 17-year-old guy who did not get admission, but yet Bitcoin is empowering his life. You need to hear about that woman who learned about Bitcoin in 2017, who resigned her teaching job, and now she has a hub in Port Harcourt, and now she trades and she makes money. We need to learn about different people that have been able to build stuff. Then what about the brands that are building the ecosystem? What about things like Yellow Card, where it's easy? I use Yellow Card. It's easy for me to buy Bitcoin under 5 minutes with even 500 Naira or 1,000 Naira. What about companies like Binance? What about companies that have been doing stuff in the country? CryptoHub, Bitcoin Chief, different people like that. So it's about telling our stories and projecting them to the world. Of course, we know it's going to be very, very tasking and costly, but we're up to the task to make sure we cover the impact of Bitcoin in the southeast, southwest, the north, and in the east, and all parts of Nigeria. So we're doing it both in Kano State, in Abuja, in Ibadan. I have a guy in Ibadan who is just 20-something. He has a poultry farm. He started Bitcoin trading, And from Bitcoin trading, the profit he made from Bitcoin trading diverts into poultry farming. That's economic empowerment. Because of course we know that the importance of Bitcoin for Africa is economic empowerment. Any other thing you're talking less than this is a faboo. The core thing for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in Africa is economic empowerment. Then you zoom to another guy who we are going to meet this weekend. He's in Africa. He left his employment, his job, and started trading Bitcoin since 2017. He left his job, and today he's almost finishing his house. He has his family. He lives 100% on Bitcoin. We want to let people know that this game is not a scam, it's not a fad, it's not a Ponzi scheme. We want to tell our story with real life experience of people who have been changed. That's the concept about the Bitcoin Nigeria project.
Yeah, no, and I think what you said there was so important with the fact that it's about economic empowerment. I mean, I think people when they think of Bitcoin trading, they think of it as a risky, speculative activity. They think of it as an investment and everything at best. But I mean, for people that really, in a lot of cases, don't have other options, it provides them at least some opportunity to, to be able to, earn income.
Of course,
provide for their family. I mean, even without a bank account now,
exactly.
You can do all of this, from your computer, from your cell phone, without having a bank account. It's absolutely amazing what like you said, what a farmer from rural Nigeria is able to accomplish, just getting online on his phone.
Yes, it's so important. What about Bitcoin in Argentina? I watched one time, where the farmers could not access bank accounts in their rural community. But guess what? The places they were to export to and sell their goods to, they opened the Bitcoin wallet and started receiving payment in Bitcoin. It's amazing what people can do. Okay, last week I was my company, Digital Abundance, the parent company of CryptoHub, domain name expired, and so I needed to just do something quick. I remember the problem I used to have with credit cards. When I advocate for something, I'm a practical. I go so practical to make sure I follow through and use it. So I looked and I said, what am I waiting for? Namecheap.com have a Bitcoin payment option. So I just got into my wallet and I created the voucher and I sent Bitcoin, and my company domain name was without using a credit card. The truth is that we can actually live on Bitcoin payments, cross-border payments, paying of salaries and all those things. We can actually live on all these things if people get to be aware about it. What excites me about Bitcoin is the freedom that comes with it. What excites me is the fact that no bank is monitoring my information, and that I don't think there's any time I've sent Bitcoin and the person say I did not receive this Bitcoin, except if it's a wrong address, which I've never done. So the person says, I received this Bitcoin, unlike the bank. Currently now I have 0 naira on my I don't want to mention the crazy bank I use. And it's been happening because I've been sending money to one of my associates. I've been sending money to his account. So any money people want to send to me for books, anything, it goes to his account. Why? Because my bank all of a sudden did an upgrade, and suddenly the banking system, you can't send. Sometimes I'm restricted to send money. Sometimes people will send money to me, it doesn't get to me. It's all issues. I've never had such issues with Bitcoin, and it's exciting. I run CryptoHub.club. I have membership in over 6 nations, and all of them paid in Bitcoin. I don't need a Western Union. I've never gone to Western Union. I don't need it when there is Bitcoin there. The freedom it brings before even the capital gains is easy for us. I wish a lot of people can know about this. I tell you, like Henry Ford said, there'll be a revolution before tomorrow morning. Man,
yeah, no, that's to your point, hey, Andreas Antonopoulos has been living on Bitcoin for 5 years now. So
yes.
It is definitely possible. It's certainly tough. I can't imagine it's always easy for him, but it is certainly possible. And especially in developing nations and in some of these emerging economies around the world where, I mean, like you said, banks aren't always reliable. You never know when a bank is going to decide that, it's, you're not allowed to transfer money today, or, when the credit card is going to actually allow you to make a foreign currency transaction. Bitcoin, there's nothing to worry about.
True.
Yeah, man. So I guess just to move forward. So tell us a little bit about where you see the space going in the next year in Nigeria. By the end of 2020, what does Bitcoin in Nigeria and Africa a little bit more broadly look like?
You see, with the recent happening in Bitcoin, on Saturday, a friend of mine sent me a message. I'm like, Chris, can you send me all your materials in cryptocurrency? And I said, okay. And this is a guy I've been talking about Bitcoin to since 2016. And I discovered it because I guess he had the news how Bitcoin got over 30% gain in one day, moving from $7,200, $300 to $10,350. That was a crazy, insane move. And for me, you see, Bitcoin has gone through several phases that you can't stop this homelet again. You can't stop this thing going on. You really cannot hold it back. The more and more people that get enlightened, the more and more people that get the consciousness of what this technology is about. I tell you, Africa is going to be a revolution. There's going to be a revolution in Africa. People are getting tired of the banks. So in 2020, by the end of 2020, we should be able to see increased all-time high trading volume in Bitcoin in Nigeria and also in Africa. Of course, Nigeria will lead for Africa. 2, we should be able to see a standardized level of Bitcoin cryptocurrency startups that are going to be emerging in Africa. I also forecast that by that time, we'll see maybe a few percentage of hedge funds diversifying their portfolio into cryptocurrency. We've been working on that. There will be some cryptocurrency regulations that will come to Nigeria, but I don't see them hurting. And even if they will bring regulations, my country is not a country that is high and super in technology. So for now, the government may still be sleeping because most of these guys will be preparing for they may be preparing for what they call the election, 2023 election. So they may not put so much attention to the cryptocurrency space. But see, for Africa, for Nigeria, more and more youths will get involved in this economy. It's not something that it will happen. And of course, by 2020, we'll see Bitcoin reach a new all-time high. Of course, there's no going back. The thing I keep telling people about Bitcoin is, see, when Bitcoin drops in price, you should be laughing because it's an opportunity for you to accumulate. Because Bitcoin pumps very fast, that when it does it, you miss out. So when this thing keep happening, people will know that, Bitcoin has proven itself over time. And since you can't stop this thing, boy, the next thing is to be part of it. So for us, we're going to see real developments happen in the cryptocurrency space. We're going to see Bitcoin happen to a new all-time high, a new high trading volume, and that's it.
So one thing I think you said was very interesting about sort of standardizing blockchain and crypto startups across the continent. So, I mean, right now, obviously, we see a lot in Nigeria. There's a big presence in Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, and a few other select places. But I mean, outside of that, Africa's a big continent, right? 55 countries, and outside of 4, maybe 5 countries, you really don't see much going on, at least right now, in terms of these crypto and blockchain startups. And so, I mean, do you think that that's something that's going to change in the next year? I mean, do you think that we're going to start seeing more innovation and everything popping up in Central Africa and in other parts of the continent, as opposed to sort of the known hotspots like Lagos, Nairobi, Accra?
Okay. The truth is this: Africa has an economic disadvantage because of bad leadership. That's one. We've not always been too good with technology, but when it comes to financial revolution happening, there's going to be, of course, there's going to be this branch out that will happen. Startups that have succeeded in taking Nigerian markets will also want to penetrate other African countries. And it's just simple as stating that do a little research. As long as economic policies in countries are failing, Bitcoin is something needed there. Hence, what will hinder startups from migrating to some of these African countries would be the issue of scams. Let me give an example. Somebody bought my book recently from Malawi, and so I told him, let him host meetups in Malawi. And he said, Chris, the problem is not meetup. The problem is not about Bitcoin. The problem is that people don't want to hear about Bitcoin here again because some people came in the name of Bitcoin mining and they scammed them of their money. That's terrible. And hearing that, whenever they see people from Nigeria who want to talk about Bitcoin to them, they feel it's a scam. So there's going to be a lot of hard way to penetrate such territories. But I believe that even with those assertions, if I've been advocating for, even in the Nigerian Bitcoin space, I've been advocating that people should branch out, go to countries like Cote d'Ivoire, go to countries like Benin Republic, Egypt, Tanzania, Rwanda. These countries have huge potentials for Bitcoin and Bitcoin trading. So what are we waiting for? We will see startups that will branch there, but that may not happen immediately. It could happen, take a couple of years, 2-3 years. And with the spread of Bitcoin and its increase in value over time, I think those countries will even start inviting startups. For me, I don't even want everybody just to come into Nigeria. Those other places are still virgin. Rwanda is virgin. There's nothing big about crypto going on there. Malawi is virgin. Just last year, when I did my African tour from Ghana, Benin Republic, Togo, I was going around for a Bitcoin tour around these countries. And I discovered that a woman told me in Cote d'Ivoire that in our community, people are not having enough education about these cryptocurrencies. So when they open a blockchain wallet and you put them in a WhatsApp group, some of them tend to even send their wallet ID and their password on the WhatsApp group so that they can send Bitcoin to them, which is ignorant. So first of all, there's going to be penetration of technology education, simple computer education. If we're going to get these unbanked people in those communities, they have money, they do local banking, they do cooperatives. There's going to be some strategies I keep sharing with some crypto guys that there are strategies to actually get these guys. For instance, in Kenya, people respect SP or so. There's a particular cooperative that people respect a lot, more than the banks. So those informal cooperative systems will be our penetration tool. If we're going to penetrate, if crypto startups are going to penetrate those countries. So we start with those cooperatives, we give them incentives, we give them education. They know the need for saving in Bitcoin and using a platform, let's say for instance, Yellow Card, where they can buy and sell and create that community. I'm sure once we do that, we'll be able to see an explosion of crypto startups in this place. We won't go with the direct mindset of, man, we want to cash in on profit here the first time. Of course, we're going to cash in on profit. But when these people get to know what they stand to benefit with this thing called cryptocurrency, I bet you there's going to be massive revolution in Africa. So it's going to be one at a time. So it's going to be like we're stretching a 3-year plan for this, 4-5 years plan. And I tell you, Africa is going to feel that heat big time.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, again, I think that's why, projects and everything like what you do and what you're working on, not only with the documentary, but with, just the whole education piece in general is so important. And localizing that content so that, somebody in Benin can learn about this technology and not send their private key out in a group.
True.
That's so important. Chris, we really appreciate it, man. Is there anything you'd like to leave off with?
Okay, for the listeners, one of the things I want us to also do is to keep renewing our faith in this technology called Bitcoin. One of the things I don't like to hear when I see some traders in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria, when they see Bitcoin dump in price, they tend to start, hey, this is happening. Man, chill. I said something about Bitcoin volatility. Bitcoin volatility for me is a blessing. If it's even possible, I don't want to see Bitcoin hit a new all-time high in 2019. Why? Man, I've got loads of time to gather enough satoshis and gather some little savings and then pour into this. I want to make some small money some other places and put into this technology. Maybe get more people to contribute money, and we are buying Bitcoin instead of it just. So the time Bitcoin is not pumping in price, you should be smiling. You should be happy that it's waiting for you, because Bitcoin is a wealth redistribution tool that is free, that is open and neutral to all. It's free. Imagine somebody who just bought Bitcoin last week, what the person will be saying today. No stock market gives you that. Imagine somebody who is in Venezuela and can't receive money from the bank and still needs to spend. Bitcoin becomes as a hedge for them. There are a lot of things this space will be unveiling to us as time goes on. And I want people to concentrate on the fact that, this is for economic freedom. This is a political movement. This is a social movement. Volatility should not scare you. It's a blessing in disguise. There's nobody who has held Bitcoin more than 2 years that will say he has lost money in Bitcoin. No. It's an asset that is fine. It's an asset whose volatility is helping people redistribute wealth. And one of the things people don't know in this world is that there's a lot of wealth in this world, but the problem the world has is that there's no redistribution of wealth. So Bitcoin gives us that edge for redistribution of wealth. So anytime there's a price decrease, everybody should be smiling to the bank to go get some cash to buy. And anytime you are holding, it's also promoting a savings culture for us in disguise. So Bitcoin for me is a unique innovation that the world is yet to even see the bigger things concerning it. And for us here in Africa, for us here in Nigeria, we'll continue our best in building. It's really not been easy, the cost and everything. But for this thing that has given us freedom, the best we can do is to help other people get the same freedom by sharing the story, by educating, and making sure everybody is part of it. Thank you very much.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Yeah, no, keep up the great work, man. Keep up, the push for education and adoption. It's such a big need in the space. So, hey, we really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you so much for your time, and tell everyone where the best place to buy Bitcoin is.
Sure. Yellow card. Yeah, you see, for not for any reason, nobody paid me to say this, but of course I told Munachi one time, I have a personal P2P exchange. And sometimes when people don't want to sell Bitcoin because of price, the simplicity, why I like Yellow Card is this. I like something that's simple. I like technologies that are simple. If you give me a phone now, I should be able to do certain things with its simplicity. When you use a MacBook, it's simple for you to use, So I don't like a platform where it's hard, it's complicated. So the fact that I could do a bank transfer, of course, Yellow Card, I think, is the first of its kind in Africa and in the world, where it's easy for me to just do a bank transfer in Naira and I'm receiving Bitcoin immediately. It's actually very simple. So I think the unique edge of the yellow card is the simplicity. And it's the best place to buy Bitcoin in Nigeria, I must say. For me, I've been using it, and anyone who uses it, you will sure know that this is not a paid, the yellow card did not pay me for this. But I just have to say, because when I use something exciting, I like to talk about it.
Much appreciated, man. You have a great day, and again, we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's all for today's episode of the Yellow Card Podcast. Thanks for listening, and thank you again to Chris for joining me today. Please leave us a review if you enjoyed the podcast.